There comes a moment in every life when the fight feels too big, the storm too strong, and the enemy too powerful. We've all been there, haven't we? Standing at the edge of an impossible situation with the winds of adversity howling in our ears. It's that moment when your own strength runs out, your resources are depleted, and your hope begins to fade. The walls feel like they're closing in, and every voice, both internal and external, is screaming that you're defeated. But what if I told you that in that very moment of your greatest weakness, a strength beyond your comprehension is ready to intervene? Today, I want to speak a truth so profound, so powerful, that it's designed to silence every lie of the enemy and shake the very foundations of fear in your heart. The Lord, the God of angel armies, will fight for you. You are not now, nor have you ever been, alone in your battle. Before you even recognized the threat, God was already moving on your behalf, just like he did for Israel at the Red Sea. Stay with me, because we're diving deep into Exodus 14:19-21, a story that proves God doesn't just show up, he takes over. Let's set the scene. To truly grasp the magnitude of what's about to happen, we have to put ourselves in their shoes. Israel has just been delivered from Egypt after generations of slavery. For 400 years, their people had known nothing but bondage, the sting of the whip, the weight of oppression. They were born slaves, and they expected to die slaves. And then the impossible happens. God has performed mighty signs and wonders. 10 plagues, each one a direct challenge to the gods of Egypt, each one a demonstration of his supreme power that brought the mightiest empire on earth to its knees. The chains are broken. They walk out of Egypt, not as fugitives, but laden with the wealth of their former masters. The air tastes of freedom for the first time. The joy is overwhelming. The future is bright. But that euphoria is about to be shattered. They come to the edge of the Red Sea, a vast, uncrossable body of water, an impossible barrier of nature's design, and behind them, the sound of their worst nightmare returning. Pharaoh, his heart hardened by pride and rage, has changed his mind. Here comes his army, 600 of the finest war chariots in the world, charging in fury, ready to drag them back into chains and a fate worse than before. They are trapped, utterly and hopelessly trapped, sea before them, Pharaoh's great army behind them, no weapons, no way out. This isn't an army, it's a nation of families, feeble men, women, and children with no weapon, no military training. All they have is the memory of slavery and the terror of recapture. They are fearful and quaking, not just in their sandals, but in their very souls. But then something powerful happens. The supernatural shift. Exodus 14:19-20 says, "Then the angel of God, who had been traveling in front of Israel's army, withdrew and went behind them. The pillar of cloud also moved from in front and stood behind them, coming between the armies of Egypt and Israel." Did you catch that? Let this sink in. The angel of God moved. The cloud shifted. This is not just a minor adjustment, it's a complete paradigm shift in divine strategy. What was leading them now steps behind them. The very presence of God that was their guide now becomes their guard. He repositions to stand between his people and the enemy, intentionally placing himself in the line of fire. He is saying, to get to them, you have to go through me. On one side, darkness, confusion, and fear for Egypt. The most powerful army in the world is rendered blind and helpless. On the other side, light, clarity, and supernatural safety for Israel. They are enveloped in a peace that defies their circumstances. God created a divine divide. He drew a line in the sand of the desert and said, "You're not touching my people tonight." Pharaoh couldn't move. He couldn't see. His strategies were useless. His power was nullified. He was stopped, not by walls, not by armies, but by God himself. We know the rest of the story, how God made a way through the roaring Red Sea when there was absolutely no way out but through. And in a moment of perfect divine justice, the very sea that parted to save God's people became the tomb for their enemies. The enemies died in the same plot they had for God's children. God fought and they walked through the sea. No one held a spear or a sword, just faith that God would fight for them as he said. Their only weapon was their trust. God still sends angels. This wasn't a one-time event. The Bible says in Psalm 91:11, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." And this is a present-day reality. Just like in Exodus, God still dispatches angels to fight for his people today. You may not see them with your physical eyes, but their presence is no less real. Think about it. Some of the things that didn't happen to you, that car crash that almost happened, that job you didn't lose, that illness you walked through when the odds were against you, those weren't coincidences. That was God sending angels to guard your back, to intervene in the unseen realm on your behalf. The fight you're facing right now, you don't have to face it alone. The same God who stood between Pharaoh and Israel stands between you and your enemy today. Sometimes God lets us get to the Red Sea moment on purpose. He leads us to these impossible places, not to abandon us, but to reveal himself to us. Because it's when your back is against the wall, in the crucible of impossibility, that his glory shines brightest. It's the perfect stage for his power. Israel was outnumbered, overpowered, and overwhelmed. By every human standard, they were defeated before the battle even began. But their enemy was no match for their God. When God fights, he never loses. He didn't lose to Pharaoh. He didn't lose at the Red Sea. And he won't lose when it comes to you. He told Moses, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Exodus 14:14. This stillness isn't passivity. It's a posture of profound trust. It's quieting your own frantic efforts to save yourself. Sometimes the greatest act of faith is not fighting, it's standing. Then came the miracle. Exodus 14:21 says, "Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and all that night the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind and turned it into dry land. It didn't part in a moment." It says all that night. While Israel waited, God worked in the dark. So, if you're walking through a season where it feels dark, a long night of the soul where you see no progress, don't assume God isn't working. Your perception of darkness does not mean the absence of God's action. He parts seas in the night. But here's the key. Israel had to walk forward. They had to step out in faith. Fear says stay still. Faith says step. Fear paralyzes. It tells you to cower on the shore and lament your fate. But faith is an action word. The Red Sea only parts when you move forward in obedience, trusting that the same God who blocked the enemy behind you is preparing a path in front of you. Friend, I don't know what your Red Sea looks like today or what your Pharaoh's army is. Is it a diagnosis that seems to have written the final chapter of your story? Is it a financial mountain so high you can't see the top? Is it a broken relationship? A deafening silence in a home once filled with love? Is it the relentless chain of an addiction, the heavy fog of depression, the crippling storm of anxiety? Whatever it is, lift your eyes. God still fights, and he will fight for you. All you have to do is trust and follow his guide. Psalm 121 says, "I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth." The one who made the mountains you face is your help. God is your defender, your warrior, your way maker. Keep your eyes looking up in the fight. Don't stare at the sea of your problems. Don't fear the Pharaoh of your past. Don't fixate on the impossibility of your situation. Fix your gaze on your protector, your deliverer, the one who never loses. Let me leave you with this. The enemy may be stronger than you, but he is not stronger than your God. The size of your giant is irrelevant when compared to the size of your God. When God fights, he wins, every single time. Just like he fought for Israel, he's fighting for you right now. He stands between you and the enemy. He sends angels to shield and guard. He lights your path while your enemy stumbles in darkness. He parts seas in the night. So today, have faith, step out, lift your eyes, and remember this promise, etched into the pages of history and written on your heart today. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. If this message encouraged you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe so more people can hear this life-changing truth. Leave a comment